We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Belltower, and Worthen. Fans Oliver from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Cannons, Carters, and Greeks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ball State of the Union, your number one Ball State football podcast. By the fans, for the fans. We're talking current headlines, exclusive interviews, and Cardinal athletes and coaches, and fun off-the-wall debates like you'll see today that you won't hear anywhere else. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. And as always, remember, we're talking Ball State. Right, Colin?
Yes, sir. 30-something days till the season. I'm pumped. Let's go Cards. Beat Purdue.
Hey, we're almost there. So, hey, a couple housekeeping notes before we get into our topic today, which some of you have probably seen already. We're looking at in our crystal balls. We're going 10 years in the future. But before we get there, since the last show with Juwan Edwards, which if for some reason you haven't seen that yet, was a great interview, please go back and watch it. Make sure you like the video, drop a comment down there. Tell us how you like the interview. It's one of the better ones I think we've had so far. But since then, I've been busy, Colin. We got a few new social media platforms out there. We're now on Instagram. We're now on Facebook. And I wanted to put it all in one spot where everyone can see us and find us if they want to. So if you are watching this right now on your computer or your laptop, your TV, go ahead and scan this QR code right here. This is going to take you to the link that's going to have all of our stuff in one spot. It's going to have the YouTube page. It's going to have Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all in one spot. You can get that, scan that QR code, and that will get you there. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe on every single platform. And if for some reason you're watching this on your phone, someplace where you can't scan it right now, the link for that is going to be in the description of the video. So, Colin, are you subscribed and liking all of our platforms that we have out there right now?
I'm subscribed. I'm not on Insta, like personally.
Okay.
But I'm on, Twitter or X. I'm on YouTube, so of course I'm subscribed there. Subscribe on YouTube, definitely. That's the big one that helps a ton. Or Spotify, however you take in the spot. Set alerts. If you're really interested in getting the newest content for Ball State, then you're at the right place.
Yeah. And so he's talking about, YouTube and Spotify, a place where you can watch the show. But I have some more news for you here, Colin. Are you ready for this? I did a little testing earlier this week. In a few weeks, not necessarily today, in a few weeks, we're going to be streaming live across multiple platforms. We're going to be streaming live initially across YouTube and Twitter, and then shortly after that, Instagram and Facebook. So you'll be able to watch these shows live with us. You're going to be able to comment, put stuff in right where you can get to us right away. We can answer your question right there during the show. I think it'll be fun. We basically do these live anyways. They're live to tape pretty much, but soon here in the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to do them Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Is that how does that sound to you, Colin?
That's exciting. I mean, make sure when we're streaming, you guys got the W's in the chat. Support us. We're trying to give you guys the best content we can. So anything you can to show us that you guys are paying attention, we appreciate it.
Yep. And so I think what we're going to do once football season gets going, we're going to have our weekly Ball State of the Union show, which is going to be, us talking, doing some interviews. We got some crossover interviews lined up with some of the teams that we're playing. I know I have the guys from Purdue and Auburn already kind of locked down, so be on the lookout for those. And then we'll probably do a post-game show either Saturday night or sometime on Sunday. And then we're also going to be doing some watch-along live streams. Now, Colin, I know you're not going to be available for the first one, but I'm going to be doing a watch-along live stream for the Purdue game, again, across all of our social media channels. I live down here in South Florida. I don't have many Ball State fans who live around me. And so I thought it would be a fun way just to kind of get together with people who might be in a similar boat or just want, something going on in that second screen on your phone, your laptop, or your iPad or something like that. So you can have the main game on your TV and watch along with me and whoever wants to join us. So that first game is going to be that Purdue game. Week 1. And so we'll be ready to rock and roll by then. Colin, I'm going to have you call in at halftime probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I can get you on. So speaking of that live stream, we're about to get to our guest. Game Day Spirit, the store and the village. Let's work together for this live stream. Let's get me an affiliate link, and we'll push some merch throughout the whole live stream. We'll get an affiliate link going. We'll get some products out there, the stuff you guys are selling. This is the bookstore, where TIS was forever. It's called Game Day Spirit right now. I want to partner with you guys for this live stream. I think it'd be great. I think it's a good way to push some merchandise out there. So, hit me up. Hit the DMs.
Any
right?
sponsors?
So,
any sponsors that are listening, call us.
That's right.
Call us.
That's right.
We're waiting.
So, we have a guest today. This guest comes to us from the other side of the state of Florida, from where I am right now. Unfortunately for him, it's Tampa Bay Lightning country. So not the country you want to be from in this current state of hockey in Florida right now. But he is BSU Edits on Instagram. You'll see him. His name is Vet at Lone Beach 86 on Twitter. This is David. So David, thank you so much for joining us today. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, no, pleasure to be a part of it, and I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. So, hey, David, before we jump into the topic for today, we see you on Twitter a lot. You have a good Instagram there, over 1,000 followers on Instagram, all about Ball State. Kind of tell us how you became such a big Ball State fan.
Oh, really? I grew up in Muncie. I lived in the Yorktown area. It got season tickets when I was a little kid and just started going like 04, 05, 06, 07, and had season tickets all through 08. So that's basically how, quite a while ago.
Okay. Yeah. And so then, like I said, David is now in Florida. He's over in kind of the Sarasota area. So he, like me, and even Colin lives a couple hours away, but he obviously lives the closest. We're big Ball State fans, and big Ball State fans are all over the country. So we're happy that you're here with us. And again, I'm sorry that the Panthers had to whip up on you 2 years in a row.
I'd love to see if you guys can do what we couldn't and get the Triple Crown there and go for the three-peat.
We're going for it. We're going for it next year. So
yeah.
All right, boys. So here we go. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to bust out the crystal ball. We're going to peer into the future of college football. And today we're predicting where Ball State, the MAC, and the entire landscape of college football is going to be 10 years from now in 2035. There's so many different things, different moving parts in college football right now. It's much different than it was even 5 years ago. It's going to be much different than it is now in 10 years. So we're looking at super conferences, new rivalries for Ball State, new playoff system or systems. Let's break it all down and look at the next decade of Ball State football. So the first topic we have here is conference realignment and Ball State's place in the MAC and college football. So, David, I'll start with you. The main question, the first question I want to know is, 10 years from now, is Ball State still in the Mid-American Conference?
I'd like to say so. Unless I think we are, unless the MAC itself disbands. I don't think that we would leave first. I think the MAC would be gone before we're gone, is my answer to that.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. I think as long as the MAC exists, I think Ball State will be in it. I think there's a handful of teams that are in that same boat, will always be in the MAC as long as it's around. There's a few that are not in that boat, I think. But Colin, what about you? Where do you think Ball State is in the MAC 10 years from now?
Yeah, they have to be. We're not a program that is attractive enough to really warrant the attention from the American Conference or Sun Belt. It really wouldn't even make sense to go there, or Mountain West, anything like that. Like, we're not really the type of team someone's going to look at the MAC if they're trying to poach and want to poach us. They're more likely to look at the Toledos, maybe Miami of Ohio, or the Ohio Bobcats, like we just heard recently. Had some conversations with, remind me, I think it was the Sun Belt. But yeah, if the MAC is around in 10 years, we will still be in the MAC. And I think it'll be us, Kent State, Eastern Michigan, Akron, and Central Michigan, maybe the directional Michigans, Western Michigan. Other than that, I'm not too sure. Who's to know? But if they're poaching teams from the MAC, it's not going to be us. That's my thought.
Right. And so then that kind of goes into the next question I'm wondering and wanting to look in and figure this out is, does the MAC even exist in 10 years? Will it expand? Will it merge, or will it just not exist at all? I don't think the MAC as it sits today, I think it's very obvious of this, that it's not going to be the same as it is now in 10 years. I think it might not even be the same now in 1 year. But I think that the MAC name itself will probably live on, but I think it's going to look a lot different. I could see the MAC merging with maybe like a Conference USA, or even, I'll get to a main point of this later, but even like a higher up grouping of some FCS teams that are at the top of the FCS moving up, because I think there's going to be a big void in teams in college football, the NCAA. So I could see that happening. But what do you guys think? Is the MAC going to even exist in 10 years? Colin, I'll start with you.
All right. Yeah, I mean I hope so. It's really hard to say right now. What really intrigues me is like the Conference USA MAC sort of merger.
Mhm.
I mean those I think it's safe to say those are like the two bottom conferences, maybe with Conference USA slightly below us, just with all the teams that used to be in FCS coming up. Um, I think that would be something special. Like if we're looking at longevity, I think what's going to get us to longevity is making sure none of the travel is too far and too expensive for the teams, so we don't go broke or anything like that. But um, I don't know. I'm really not sure. That's a tough question. I come back to me. Come back to me,
Okay.
Dave. What do you think?
I think that you can end up even seeing teams like Illinois State jumping
Mhm.
up. It's something small I see. Some smaller FCS schools or some schools that we've played in the past jumping up that are bigger FCS schools. I don't know. That's something that I keep going back on the most is stuff like that. And do we keep playing Northern Illinois? I don't know.
Yeah, and so I could see depending on how things all shake out. Again, we'll get to the main point here in a minute, but I could see, maybe a merger with maybe some teams from the Missouri Valley Conference. Obviously, they're the higher up teams like the Indiana States, the Illinois States, those types of teams, and not far travel. As much as I don't want to admit it, not too terribly different levels of football being played between all of them. Obviously, you saw like a Missouri State from that conference last year, who's moved up now. We did play them. We played them. We handled them fairly well in the second half last year. But again, once they have years, being at that FBS level, that could change. But you guys were talking about playing. David, you're talking about playing Northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
With all this realignment that's going to be coming, what do our rivalries look like for Ball State football in 10 years? Are we still playing these traditional rivalries, or are those just dead and gone?
I think if Miami of Ohio is still in the MAC, we'll continue to play them yearly, constantly,
Mhm.
without a doubt. I think Northern Illinois now is up in question. I can see it happening occasionally, but not all of the time. And then now, I mean, like, should we find another team like Ohio or Kent or Akron or someone else?
Yeah. Colin, where do you see these rivalries going? Because I have a couple thoughts on these, but I wanted to hear what you had to say first.
Yeah, I think Dave hit the nail on the head. We're gonna keep playing Miami, Ohio until they're gone. If they leave, we'll have to develop something new. Maybe Western Michigan. They're not too far. I don't know really. I don't know who we would develop it with. Truly, I know we have one with Indiana State, and like Dave was saying, possibly we backfill in the MAC, bring in Illinois State, bring in Indiana State. I'm honestly fine in 10 years if the MAC is still FBS and we lose NIU, Toledo, Miami, Ohio, but we backfill with Illinois State, Indiana State, and then maybe somewhere on like the east, like Rhode Island or something. I really don't know.
Like a
But like,
Delaware or
yeah, it's
somebody.
not a great conference.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, it's not a great conference. We're probably the bottom of the barrel conference, but as long as we're still FBS and we still get to go to a bowl game if we're 6-6, I think I'll be satisfied with that.
So I'll do my first declaration here. I'm going to look into the crystal ball and tell you exactly what's going to happen on this one. Okay. In 10 years, obviously Northern Illinois is already gone. Miami of Ohio will be gone. And I think Toledo will be gone. I think those are the three teams that will be gone. I think Ohio stays. So with that, I think our new rivals, for you say, you got Akron and Kent State, you have, the Michigan schools up there. I think in that scenario, the two rivals in the MAC that we would naturally get would be Ohio and Bowling Green, because if Toledo is gone, that rivalry within Bowling Green is now kind of broken up. If Ohio and Miami, if Miami Ohio is gone, which I could see that them and Toledo going, I think Bowling Green and Ohio. But I would say Bowling Green would be the number one choice for me personally, because while I think Ohio would stay, they would be the next team or in that group that could go. And so that's where I see the MAC. So I can see in 10 years Bowling Green being our new main rival in the MAC. And also Indiana State. I know we kind of talked about them already with backfilling some of these teams. That obviously makes a lot of sense. It's in the same state. We have a lot of history with them, not much recently, but a lot of history, way back in the day of playing Indiana State. So that's kind of my first declaration from the crystal ball of what I think is going to happen.
John, where do you think those teams that leave the MAC end up?
I don't know, because everything, all the names of these conferences and everything right now, while we know them from the years of watching college football, being fans, they really don't mean anything anymore at this point. Like you're seeing this Pac-12 coming back now, and we've grown up, everyone being a Pac-10 fan and then the Pac-12 for a while. Well, that's not the Pac-12 anymore. That's a completely new thing. So where are they going to be? I don't know. I don't think any of them are going to end up in that top echelon of, where these Power 5 schools are going to end up. But I think, they'll be whatever these higher up group of 5 type conferences would be is probably where they would look to go. Where exactly that is, I don't know, but that's kind of where I would see them going.
Yeah, quick rebuttal to that, John.
Okay.
When you say like the Pac-12 is no longer the Pac-12, it's like something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the Pac-12 is now the Mountain West. So like it all rolls down creek, right? So
yeah,
the Pac got raided by the Big Ten, ACC. So then the Pac-12 raids the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mountain West is like, what do? So they backfill from the MAC and from wherever they get them, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just so low on that pecking order that our chances really just rely on like regionality and just trying to make sure we don't lose the cream of the crop. And if we do, we backfill. Like I really like this UMass pickup. Like, no, they haven't been good since they've been FBS, but dude, I love UMass. I think it's a really exciting ad, and the academics are there. I think like they spend a decent bit of money. So just in general, I think they're going to be really competitive in the MAC. And if we keep doing like backfilling maneuvers like that, I think we'll be okay.
Uh-oh, we got a cat on the screen.
Crazy. We were just talking about that possibly happening right before too.
That's all right. It's all good. Okay, let's talk. Unless anyone has anything else on kind of the MAC or what these rivalries will look like in the next 10 years. Say, if you do, say your piece now.
I just think backfilling is the move.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Indiana State.
Yeah. That to me makes the most sense to me, because that would give us now a natural rival in state, that's not in Michigan and Ohio, that we're losing with Northern Illinois. I think that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Let's talk college football playoffs and how that's going to look. So if I'm looking in this crystal ball 10 years from now, I've alluded to it a couple times already. The college football playoff to me is going to be a completely separate thing than it is right now. What I see happening is the SEC, the Big Ten, and whatever remains of the ACC and Big 12 in 10 years are basically going to break off and do their own thing. So what that and maybe like a handful of independent teams like a Notre Dame or teams that aren't going to have a conference. Could that be a Florida State? Could that be a Clemson if they don't land in one of these other conferences? That would leave whatever's left of the following conferences: the MAC, the Pac-12, Mountain West, Conference USA, the Sun Belt, to now play for a second national championship or a third national championship if you're including the FBS. Or we could even see, which I think is also likely, because now if you're doing that, you're basically losing the top 6. You're losing 60 teams from this pool. That's where I see this backfill of these FCS teams that are going to jump up. So I'm saying in 10 years, there's going to be 2 separate national championships. not 3. There's going to be 2. There's going to be one, the Super League, and there's going to be one with everybody else with some FBS teams. Where do you guys land on this college football playoff? Who would like to start? David, let's start with you.
The playoff scenario down the line it kind of freaks me out because I think that we're going to get so far pushed out of it that it's now impossible to ever make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what worries me. But I think that you're going to see, at minimum, you're going to get to a point where 4 Big Ten teams are just automatic locks. 4 SEC teams are just automatic locks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to go that route, and it's just going to slowly keep getting worse.
Do you see a scenario though where there is a second national championship where we do now have a better chance of getting in? And because right now, like you said, we're even right now, there's zero chance really that we would ever even make the playoff, let alone win the national championship. In this new scenario, where I think it's going to end up going, it's going to take time to get there. I think that gives us a much better shot at actually winning something. I know Colin kind of likes the idea of still playing in traditional bowl games, but do you see, David? Do you think that that could happen, or you think it's still just going to be one big college football playoff for all of the FBS?
I think that if there is going to be 2, it's going to be just a group of 5 teams, or they'll do something similar to like an NIT from basketball, and it would be like that instead of traditional bowl games, but they'll make them bowl games kind of like they're doing with the playoff system now.
Yeah.
I could see that, but I'd really like to keep it traditional.
Okay. All right, Colin, I know that me and you have been going back and forth about this for a little while now. Let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if anybody recently saw Missouri's head coach, Eli Drinkowitz, proposing the 30-game playoff. His rationale for that being in the NFL, something like 44% of the teams get in. And then in college football, it's like less than 10% or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously there's less teams in the NFL, but I think instead of a 30-team playoff, what's more feasible would be a 24-team playoff. But then you have 8 teams that get a bye, and then so the 8 teams play another 8 teams, and the winners play the teams that are resting.
Okay.
Now 24 teams is interesting because I think you can give the SEC their 4, the Big Ten their 4, the ACC and the Big 12 maybe they get 2, maybe they get 3. Maybe we leave 1 for Notre Dame out there. And then I think every other conference should have a bid. And then that still leaves some at-large bids. So some people will say, like, there's too many blowouts already, or like too many blowouts already in the playoffs. But that's the thing, like, there is already blowouts, and we're already scaling like who can be in and who can't. It's already pretty choosy. So my thoughts is it's not going to get any worse. And at least you allow people to think that they have a chance. Even if your team is a bottom barrel Kent State, no disrespect to Kent State, but at least they still have that, like, okay, if we win the MAC championship, we get a bid in the playoffs. I think that's the most fair. I think that's the best for the sport. But the real question is, are the Big Ten and the SEC going to be too greedy to let that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. My only issue with it, and what most people's issue from the player side is going to be, is it's just a lot of games. It's a lot of games to be playing. So I mean, I'm with you. Obviously, I want Ball State to have a chance to win, to be in it and win. I just I don't know if they're going to go that far just because of the amount of games that they're going to have. Because to win the national championship, 24 teams, how many games do you have to win?
6.
You have to win 6 games.
If you're in the first round, you have 6. If you're out the first round, it'd be 5.
So right now you have to win 4 to win it all if you don't have a bye, and then you have to win 6. I mean, that's a lot. It's 2
That's
extra
not
games.
That bad, man.
Well, we're not the ones playing the games.
Right. Yeah, but
I think it could cause some player safety issues for sure.
So my counter to that would be, well, I understand that everyone wants to be in the top tier. If there are 2 playoffs, they can keep it at where each team, people are still playing 4 games, which they've already agreed to now. So theoretically, if there was a second playoff, a group of 5 playoff, you're not playing 6 games to win that, you're playing 4. So, I mean, I'm with you. I want us to have the best chance to win it all, but what really is the best chance for us to win it all? So, and I also think with this playoff, if they do something like this, there needs to be more on campus games. if Ball State is going to go play, let's say, a Memphis or something in a bowl game on short notice, is that really going to be able to, are we going to fill that place up, or would it make more sense for Ball State to host a home game and it be a packed out, sold out place? I think that's what the way they do. So I don't know how much longer, if this happens, these traditional bowl games are going to be lasting. There'll be some still, but I don't think we'll have the full gambit of it, but who knows? Okay. I think we basically covered all that for the most part. I think we all are kind of in agreement that we don't think Ball State is going to end up in the FCS. I think, if anything, the FCS is going to kind of become the FBS. And yeah.
I think Akron or Kent would be the first to go to FCS before us, even, too, if I'm being honest. No disrespect, but
and we'll kind of get to this, talking about it a little bit with Akron in the NIL section. But, Akron has basically kind of punted on their football team at this point, and they said, hey, all this NIL money that we have, it's going elsewhere. And so, that could be, a scenario where something like that happens. And that's obviously a very generic way to put all that. Obviously, there's probably more nuance to it. But I guess right from there, we can just jump right into the NIL if you guys want.
Real quick, though, John, real quick.
Okay, yeah.
How he was talking about Kent State or Akron being the team to drop down to FCS. I did see recently Louisiana Tech got into the Sun Belt from Conference USA.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big reasons they got approved to go into the Sun Belt, allegedly, is that had they not gotten into the Sun Belt, ULM would have dropped down to FCS because of their spending on travel. So they were out there pretty much. I think Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, are also in that conference, but they wanted another partner that was only less than 50 miles away to be able to take some of that stress and relieve them of the burden of having to travel for so many games. So I think that's going to be something we're seeing more often, and that's why the regionality piece of the MAC is such a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. All right, NIL. We're looking in the crystal ball here. 10 years from now, are we going to be able to say that Ball State has and is competing in terms of NIL? I'll start us off. I'm be very blunt, and I'm going to say no. I don't think we're going to compete in the NIL era. And I don't know if that's as big of a deal as I originally thought it was. And kind of here's my rationale behind it. What basically can we do to bump all this up in a significant amount of way where we're going to be able to compete with top level teams? I don't know that there's a way, short of one of us becoming a billionaire and putting all our money into this. I don't know that we can nickel and dime our way, like we're trying to do, up. But I don't think many people and many teams in the group of five can. There's a handful that can, and there's a handful that have some money behind them. But I think a lot more teams in the group of five are in our scenario than are in the scenario of like a Memphis who had $200 million that they tried to give to the Big 12 and said no to. So who are we competing with now in the NIL era? The big schools still have all the money. We were never going to get people from them. So are we losing some people to these higher tier G5 teams? I suppose now, yeah. But I don't know that it really puts us in that much of a different spot now than it was beforehand, because obviously I think that people were getting paid the entire time. So am I crazy in saying that? You guys let me know. If I'm crazy, then I'm crazy, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is originally I thought we can't compete. This is going to kill us. But then I thought more, I don't know that a lot of people can compete in this.
Yeah.
David, you start.
Yeah, I don't really think that in general we'll be competing for NIL. I completely agree with you. I think a lot of those players aren't going to be transferring to higher up G5 programs either, less than people think. I mean, you'd rather just play in midweek action and be seen than go to San Diego State or something like that, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then this doesn't really work out, a lot of those players. And then you'd rather just go up to a power program and actually be seen. If you're going to go the whole distance, you might as well just do it. So
yeah, I
don't think that'll be an issue, losing to like USF or Boise and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and even now, with schools are having the ability, like what is it, like $20 million, they're able to pay directly to players. Ball State will have some of that money to use, but it's that extra money on top of that I don't know how many people have all that money. So, Colin, I know we're always interested in NIL, and there's obviously more stuff. And I'm not absolving Ball State of trying in the NIL. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they don't have to try and they shouldn't be being creative and trying to do different things. But I'm saying I don't know that they can creatively make up this difference. So, Colin, what's kind of your thoughts on NIL? Is Ball State going to be able to be a competitive NIL team out there? Are they really going to be able to use NIL as a strength for them to move up, or is it just going to kind of be status quo?
Yeah, so I don't think we can use NIL like directly to move up, but I think what we can do is become a stepping stone program for some of these players. Same thing that happened with TK, same thing that happened with Justin Bowick, same thing that happened with Cam Pickett, same thing that happened with Caden Samanza. If we show that when you come here, we're going to get you to the program you want to go to. If we can continue to do that, we'll see some of those people that maybe they're not quite there yet. Like they are maybe in talent. Like Tanner Koziel easily could have played Power 5 football last year, Power 4 football last year. But he didn't have people believing in him like we believed in him. If we can keep showing that we can find those hidden gem players, players will flock to us to show like, hey, I want to go to Alabama. Can you help me make that happen? Or hey, I want to maybe go to USC. I want to go to Tulane, wherever you want to go. Because really, you're right. The other G6 programs don't have the money that, the Alabama, Notre Dame, places like that have. There's a couple. I mean, like you said, Boise State, Memphis just offered $250 million to go to the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have FedEx money. Tulane has 5 quarterbacks they paid this year to just come in. So some of these programs do have money, but for the most part, they're in the same boat as us. So I think we'll get points if we keep pushing players to the next place. And we can't have this we can't have a negative attitude about it, like, oh, I don't want my players to go in the transfer portal. Like, yeah, nobody does. But if that gets eyes on us, on people, if we consistently do it, on people saying, hey, Ball State, they're pushing players to that next level. Like, you might not go pro right from Ball State, but Carson Steele, Ball State, UCLA, pro. You know what I'm saying? So if we can continue just to show that we can do good player development, that's our stepping stool right there. It's just like our best case scenario is, hey, we'll get you to the program you want to go to. You're not quite there yet, but come here. We'll help you get there. So I think that's how we can use NIL. It's like we don't have the bag for you, but we'll get you to that place that has the bag. And I think that's what we got to focus on, is just like being able to incentivize these players to work hard for us so they can reach their goals.
Yeah, perfect. And that's one of the upcoming sections I have is about coaching continuity. And I think that's basically how this NIL is going to work, is they're going to have to really focus on their coaching and player development, as opposed to just getting players in. Because basically, whether people like it or not, these top schools, these Ohio States, these Alabamas, the Texases, these are just basically NFL teams now with this free agency that they're dealing with all the time and bringing people in. And so if some of these teams can embrace that some with what money they do have, but really emphasize these old school, tactics of getting these coaches in here who are really good at getting people in and developing them, that's going to be, like you said, the best thing that they can offer is playing time and a chance to get better. So I think we're all in agreement here. Now, like I said, this does not mean Ball State doesn't need to be trying and doing things for NIL. Are there any kind of smaller ways that they can kind of drum some stuff up? Do people have any ideas here? David, I know you texted me one of them earlier. What was kind of some of the ideas that you maybe think Ball State might be able to do on a smaller scale that could maybe help out a little bit?
A smaller scale, it's like you could take, they just did what, Worthern and then Schumann Stadium, the turf. That definitely could have been sold off. Same with any old equipment, helmets, game use balls. I mean, who knows where all that stuff went, really.
Yeah, I don't know. So we talked about that back in December. One of the things we did, like a wish list episode, one of the things we talked about in there was doing a surplus sale, which tons of people do. Even, I worked at a couple different colleges and pro teams. Some of those people even did stuff like that. And so that's just an easy way. Are you going to be able to, land a 5-star quarterback because of the jerseys you sold? No, but it's going to help with something. It's better than nothing. It's better than just getting rid of it all. So, I like that idea. Colin, any other small kind of ideas that maybe could help in the NIL front.
John, you know how I feel about this, and Dave, I think you probably have seen it too, but just the lack of effort by Ball State to like focus on media, to like get our name out there, to do anything buzzworthy, like it's just so sickening. Like the players, there's the Dancing Charlie uniform. Like I'm not gonna go back on that. You guys know how I feel, but like we got these fresh uniforms that I think most people would agree look a little nicer than just the regular plain Ball State head. And yes, I get everybody knows the Ball State actual logo, but like the players are who you're trying to appeal to, the good players. So like when we change the turf and like it looks good, it looks good, but like it doesn't pop out to you. It like if you're looking at all the turfs and you're trying to decide, like you're trying to pick, like I want to go to the freshest school, like I'm thinking like an 18-year-old. I want to go to the freshest school. I want to be look good, feel good. Like we can't get like the logo right. We can't do a field that pops. We can't have new unis. We can't like make the team fresh. Like sometimes it doesn't really matter like the significance of something, right? So like Western Kentucky, they had the helmets with their mascot doing the punting for the punters, the throwing for the quarterback. Like it was different by position. Okay, like do one with Garfield, do one with like who cares like if it's one game, but you do something to get your name out there, like to have it in the media, to have a little buzz around it, like, oh shoot, Ball State just got a red field. That's turf. Like
Yeah.
it might be hideous, but everybody's talking about it. You know what I mean? And it might not, they're not all talking about it in Florida, but like I bet you in Indiana and South Bend where I'm at, like people will notice that. They're like, oh, you see that Indiana school has a red field. Like just little stuff. Like I'm asking the bare minimum. We
Yeah.
could barely get a video for the college football 26 dropping. Like I was sitting there like, damn, we got 12 hours till it drops. There's nothing. Of course, we're a couple days late. Video was fine. Video was okay. I feel like we could have did better. If we had all the resources and like we're like, all right,
Yeah.
we're gonna do something here. Just like I'm wondering in my head who is directing these people. Who is the media relations director? Like, please call me. Please call me. I will help you guys. Like, I'm honestly like, I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Like, the reason I started the Twitter account was I'm on Twitter trying to learn information about Ball State. There's no information out there. I got to create the Twitter to do it. Like, I don't think they
Yeah.
understand. Like, you can't even find information on Ball State. And then when I put it out there, like, no offense to Ball State Daily News, this is going to trigger some people again. But like, our only people reporting on Ball State was Ball State Daily News. And yes, I understand it's hypocritical to complain about the only people covering it. But my beef isn't with you, Ball State Daily News. It's with Ball State. Why are they the only people covering that? Why do you have students that need to go to class as the only people asking questions to Coach U? Like, it's just, do something. Get your name out there. Do like make it pop. Like, if I need to give you free advice, I will. Call me. So that's how I'm
Yeah.
feeling, John.
I mean, I that's exactly why I created the BSU Edits Instagram during all those years, is because I was getting out score graphics before the team would. I was getting more engagement than them during all of those years. It, it was weird. I had people coming to me for information instead of, them. It was weird. I completely agree. I had nothing for Ball State at the
Yeah,
time.
well, and that's why this show exists. If
Yeah.
I'm a Pacers fan and I watch a game in the NBA Finals, once the game's over, I can go on any social media platform and find 20 different independently made channels talking about what just happened. And for Ball State, that's and what they put out there in terms of their media presentation for games and stuff is very good and very professional. But there's only one
Right.
source of it. There's nothing else. So that's exactly why this channel now exists as well. One more thing
John,
with it. Yeah, go ahead.
you know this as much as anybody. Some games they don't even give us a post-game press conference.
Oh, don't
My
even
coach
start
just
on it
got
again.
fired. My coach just got fired, but I didn't even get to see him speak about it. Like, dude, it blows me away. It blows me
How
away.
many times did that happen last year?
Yeah, Colin would
3
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one more thing with the NIL and a smallish thing that we could do, and then we can move on to the next thing. Basically, every single NIL that exists right now is easily accessible and easily donatable. You can go on anyone's website, easily go on there and click. Here's $10, here's $20, here's whatever. If you go to Ball State's NIL on their page, and we talked about this a while back in December, and it's still this way today. You're going to find Brady Hunt on there. You're going to find Marquez Cooper on there. You're going to find guys that have been gone for years now, and this page has not been updated. So even if you wanted to go donate to a specific NIL fund right now, I don't think there's an easily accessible way to do it. So I think that would be a very easy, very simple thing to do. Make a new website, make a donatable leak, or just merge your NIL in the Cardinal Varsity Club and make it one thing, because everyone already knows what Cardinal Varsity Club is. I don't really know what the difference is. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, straight up. If anybody wants to donate to NIL, purchase the Ball State Football Talk gear, any Ball State of the Union gear. This is all in a pool right now. Not a lot of people have purchased. Honest, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got like $20-something to donate to NIL right now. But if you want, we get a cut of it. We'll donate the proceeds to the Ball State NIL, however we can. We're gonna figure it out. So yeah, if that interests you, that's an option.
Okay, I'll put the link to that in the description of this video as well, so people can look into that if they want. Like you said, we don't get much money from it, but the money that we do get, Colin wants to donate to NIL somehow once we figure out a way how to donate it. So we'll do that. Let's talk some facilities and campus investment. So we've seen over the past 10 years, this has been something that Ball State has done a good job with for the football team. They added that building, the football offices. They expanded those a bunch. They added the indoor facility, which is something that they've been needing forever. Will that continue over the next 10 years? Will we see any major renovations to Schumann Stadium by 2035? I'm going to say no. I don't think that that's that big of a deal. I think as long as they keep it presentable and make sure it's not falling apart, if they keep up with that, then I think that it's a fine stadium as it is right now. I do have one idea that I always thought I would like, but I'm going to kick it to David. And David, are we going to see any big renovation to Schumann Stadium over the next 10 years?
Nothing, I wouldn't say anything major, but you could definitely see minor stuff, bleachers, stuff like that being replaced. But I think the way it sits is fine. I mean, there's some awkward parts of the stadium for sure to get around, but I personally think it's one of the better MAC stadiums.
Okay. Colin, what about you?
Yeah, I was actually just there in June, late June or early July. They had a 7-on-7 tournament inside the indoor facility, but then also on the stadium. So I got to be there on the sidelines and inside the indoor stadium. I really like it, actually. Like, it's a lot better than I think it gets credit for. And by a lot better, I think I'm going to give it like a B. But no, I don't have a ton that I think I really would want to see change. Maybe a bigger scoreboard. But yeah, unless we just start killing it, like Coach U just has a 5-year streak of 5 bowl games in a row. We win 2 or 3 of them. Hopefully we get David Letterman on the phone. He starts watching some games or something. Unless something drastic like that happens, I think you guys have it right. I don't think anything changes.
Yeah. The main thing that I would like, I've always wanted this, is make it a horseshoe. Connect those two bleachers onto the football offices, the football building, and connect it there. So there's only the opening on the grass hill. I like the grass hill. I think that should stay. But I went to the game at Vanderbilt last year, and they were in the process of doing something kind of similar. They were enclosing it all in. Now, I don't think we need to close it all in because I like that hill. But I would think it would look better. I don't really like the 2 openings there. That would be the only thing. But for the most part, I think it's fine. Now, we're going to do a bonus look into the future here. Now I'm going to look 50 years into the future. Is there a stadium on campus, in the heart of campus, in 50 years? I'm going to say no, but it would be sweet if there was.
Agreed.
I don't think it'll ever happen, but it'd be amazing, similar to Wortham.
It'd be sweet. But yeah, I think that space is pretty much all, unless they put it in that parking lot there, and then they had to move that. They build a parking garage or something somewhere. But I don't even know. I don't know how the landscape of that all would fit, so I can't speak too much onto it.
There's a gentleman on Twitter who this is like his biggest topic. Like he wants that stadium on campus so bad. And I will say when I went to school, 2014, 2018. The team wasn't very good like those years. 2014 was okay, I mean, but uh we would all go to tailgate and then we would just go home. So my
Mm-hmm.
thing isn't that it's not necessarily like close enough for the students to get there. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like for those people that are really feeling kind of lazy, like it is kind of a hassle. But if you're gonna go there and drink, you should stay for the game. And I didn't do it myself really all the time when I was there, so who am I? That's very hypocritical, but I just think like if the team is good enough, people will stay. It's not so far that people don't walk there to get drunk. So like, I kind of I see both sides of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you got to fill Schumann to begin with before we can really start building on to it. But when I was talking about those awkward parts, I was talking about those exact same areas
Yeah.
that you were. It's just those two weird corners that we
Yeah.
don't know what to do with.
We don't know what to do with. I think you make a walkway that connects up in the middle of the section for both of them, so you don't have to
Yeah.
go all the way down or all the way up. That would be my only thing. And I
Well,
mean, I wouldn't think that would be that crazy of an add-on, but I'm sure it would be for some
yeah.
reason. But all right, so we're talking about filling Schumann Stadium. So obviously, the best way to do that is going to be to win games. So we're looking 10 years ahead from now. We haven't even got one game out of Mike Yurimovich yet. Is he the head coach of the Ball State Cardinals in 10 years? Now, I've always said the best way for them to have sustained success is for them to have an alumni as the coach who they can have there for a long time. That blew up in my face because we just had an alumni as a coach for a long time. And aside from basically a year and a half, we never really got those results that we were looking for. So, is Mike Yurimovich the head coach in 10 years? I'm going to say doubtful, but I hope he is. If he is still the head coach in 10 years, that would mean to me that he's got this program in the right direction. They're competing every year in the MAC, and they have embraced this idea we talked about earlier as how they're going to compete in NIL is not necessarily with money, but it's going to be with that great coaching and developing. So I think that he's going to be an awesome coach personally. So I think he's going to have a great offer in 3 or 4 years that we're probably not going to be able to keep him for. Unfortunately, I don't think he's a coach in 10 years, but I hope he is. So, David, where's Coach U in 10 years? Is he in Muncie or is he somewhere else?
I don't think he's in Muncie, and I mean that very respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anything bad. I mean, I think he gets a lot of attention. We turn stuff around, and I think that he gets like you said, a better offer on the table. And I'd love to see him stay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could have seen Hoke stay and
Yeah,
seen
this
how
is
that
what
would have
brings it
gone.
up.
That would have been insane. And so, but with the way the NIL is, yeah, you never know. He could stay, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see
because
him here respectfully.
some of these guys, these classic old school football guys, they want to be football coaches, and the higher up that you get nowadays, it seems like you're coaching less and less. You're recruiting more and more, which I think everyone's probably recruiting more and more. But there's a lot of extra outside factors that you're now having to deal with. So um, he seems like he's an old school football guy from the time when Colin and I talked to him. So Colin, Coach U, friend of the program. So Coach U, if you're listening or any of your family members are listening, we're excited about week 1 from Purdue. But Colin, where do you see this going?
Yeah, I know exactly where he's going, John. I'm gonna look into my little crystal ball here. Like
Okay.
10 years, Purdue. He's gonna be in Purdue. He's
Okay.
thinking just like you are, John. What a school needs sometimes is their alumni to come back, lead them to the promised land. This man is a Purdue alum. His son goes to Purdue. I think we win week 1, leave Purdue a bad taste in their mouth. But also now they're thinking about Coach U. They're like, we could have had this guy, right? Now, in 10 years, if he's still with us, with all due respect, in 10 years, if he's still with us, I don't think things have gone as great as if in 10 years he's at Purdue, right? Like, I think if he's still here in 10 years, then some ups and downs, right? Ups and downs, but for the most part, good.
Yeah.
If he goes to a Power 4 conference, if he's at a Power 4 conference in 10 years, I think no question he did some like Miami, Ohio. We have like a Toledo run or something. But shout out to Toledo keeping Jason Candle that long. I just don't think we have the budget, the money to pay a guy that's proven himself. If he goes to listen, if he goes to 4 bowl games in 5 years, he's not with us. And I think that's possible. I mean,
Yeah. We'll see.
I got my rose tinted glasses on for sure. I'm a
Oh,
Ball
yeah.
State fan. I'm bleeding Cardinal red.
12-0
But
every year.
There we go. Yeah.
yeah, 12-0 every year. I'm predicting bowl game every year.
Yeah. So Colin,
And if you
I've
haven't,
only known of Colin a couple years now, and I've never not seen at least a 6 in that first column.
dude, and I'm not promoting gambling, but you damn right better believe I went over on the 3.5, and we're covering the 16.5 for Purdue. But like, if he's here in 10 years, I don't think there's as steady of success as if he's gone somewhere else. And I think the most attractive place to coach you, somewhere in Indiana, and I think probably Purdue. And they just got Barry Odom, so Barry Odom might be looking to go on too because he was at UNLV, and then you go to Purdue, and honestly, if you sign up to Purdue, like I feel like that's a death sentence. Like the Big Ten, you just signed up to be the coach of the worst Big Ten team. You might as well be Kent State's coach. Like not that bad, but like, dude, you're on the same footing there. Like Mark Carney, I apologize, but you're cooked. So like, I think we'll see him in 10 years. We'll see him at Purdue.
So one of the other things I had on here in this category basically would be you've seen like Texas Tech with Mike Leach, um, those Chip Kelly Oregon teams. They had these identities that they were known for years on end. Is that even possible for Ball State to do something like that in this era? Can Coach U make this a blank school, or can that not really happen because anytime we have someone who would be that good of a player, we're going to lose them? So is it more of a let's make it a quarterback school or a running back school? You know, we've had some good running backs here the last handful of years. Or is it just whoever our best players are that year is who they are, and it could change year after year? Do you think there's any way we could be known for being this factory of any type of position? David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be kicker, personally.
Okay,
And
there
I
we
think
go.
Corville's going to start that off this year at Ohio State. I
Okay.
think he's going to prove to everyone. I mean, Colin mentioned it. You want to go to Ball State to get where you want to go. You want to go. I mean, Corville could do the same for those same people, is what I'm thinking.
Okay, I like kicker. I like that answer. Okay. Colin?
Wow. Yeah, that surprised me. That kind of came out of
Mhm.
left field. Kicker you.
There we go.
Kicker
Hey,
you.
we've
I
had
can
some
see it.
greats
I can see
already,
it.
and even like punters with Scott Cavanda at that time. I mean, we've been in the national spotlight for those positions, and I think that we could bring it back easily.
Specialist, you also shout out Nick Traub, long snapper. He's a friend.
Legend.
Friend of the program recently. So shout out we could be long snapper you too. Colin, you got any positions, or is just
Definitely.
kind of whoever we got is whoever we got?
No, I think any coach, if you like are passionate and you know your stuff, I think if you come in with the intention of like, hey, we're going to be a run first team, we're going to run it down your throat. I think that's what Coach U was trying to do because like bringing back Kyle Kelly, I don't know exactly like what was said to Caden Samanza exactly. I don't know if we told him kick rocks. I don't know what exactly we did, but I would hope not. But the fact that we went and got Kyle Kelly, but we didn't get Caden Samanza, and Caden Samanza's kind of in a little bit of a pickle now. Like, you got to
Yeah.
try against like a quarter. All the quarterbacks in all college football are on that roster.
Yeah.
Not actually, but they have like 5 guys. One guy stole a car, so they said, "All right, forget him. We're gonna bring the guy that got kicked out of BYU." So it's like he might be regretting that as well, and I hope not. I hope he wins the whole thing, and I hope he does great at Tulane. But I think he chose for a reason, Kyle Kelly. Like he had a plan, is what I'm hoping. He's like, we're gonna be a run first type of team, do the run RPO sort of deal with Kyle Kelly, something like that. I'm hoping he had a plan going into it, but I think, listen, we have Kyle Kelly this year. I told him my goal for him was 3,000 yards. That's kind of crazy. If we go to a bowl game, he would have to throw for 250 yards per game. Maybe we lower that to like 2,500 or 2,000. But dude, 2,000 yards rushing, 2,000 yards passing. That'd be incredible. I don't know if it happens, but say we have Kyle Kelly pop, right? And this is a big if. But if he pops and we get some eyes on him, that might take some work on media, Ball State. But say we get some eyes on Kyle Kelly and he starts popping. I'm a quarterback over at I don't know, Indiana State or Illinois State or one of these other MAC schools that are going to have a terrible year this year. Sorry, Akron. Sorry, Kent State. Whatever. Maybe I'm a quarterback on over there, and my skill set is identical to Kyle Kelly. Like maybe I'm not the best thrower. I'm not saying that about Kyle Kelly, but maybe he's not the best thrower, but he's a great rusher, and he sees what we do with him. Kind of gets people thinking. It's like, okay, like I could do that, and like if we have one person successfully be this run first quarterback, I think that leads other people to be interested in us. And then if he continues doing that, we could maybe see like some. Now it's not going to be like Army Navy where they run the same thing, but if we get that ball rolling, it's kind of the same way with the players. We show the players like, hey, if you come here, we'll get your name out there, we'll build you a little buzz. Like that's the same sort of idea, but yes, that involves Ball State putting out a graphic of the player after they do a good job, which sounds simple, but for some reason they're allergic to it. So like we need to focus on something. We need to do our part, but coach needs to do his part as well. So I think he could easily. Coach, you want to do run first? Do it. I think we could do it. As long as we do it successfully that first year, players will be looking for a system they fit in. It's just like college football 26. You're recruiting. What are they interested in? Is it play style? Okay, his play style is just like mine. Like recruit him. You know?
Okay. Our last topic before we get into the fan questions. Fan engagement and media presence. And this is where I have some creative ideas here. I like to throw out the creative ideas from time to time. So how can Ball State grow its brand nationally? I have a couple ideas here. Number one, and I've said this before, I think we should utilize and be creative with some non-conference or even conference neutral site games. Some people already do this, so it's not groundbreaking. I'm looking at Parkview Field in Fort Wayne. We have a big alumni base in Fort Wayne. Now, I threw that out to the Tin Caps before, and they kind of told me, or someone there told me, which I don't even know how reputable it was, that it wouldn't work with the dimensions of it. But I think it'd be a cool visual playing that. People do playing those games at the football stadium or the baseball stadium sometimes. And my other one, this is the craziest one, Colin. I don't know if you remember what this other one was, but we go down to that turn, that short shoot between turn 3 and 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we play a game down there in that snake pit. I think that would be a fun one too. So I think some fun things like that, especially at some place like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, could be a way to really get the Ball State name out there. And this is my favorite take that I have. I'm looking into this crystal ball. There is a thing in college football that nobody has claimed yet, and I think Ball State football could be a perfect candidate to claim. We need to become the week 0 team. We need to play on week 0 every year. Nobody does this yet. I'm shocked no one has taken this. It's it's a 3 or 4 year thing so far. It's a newer thing. I understand that. David, you're a Lions fan. The Lions play on Thanksgiving every year. Every year, the Lions are going to play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you have a game to lose.
You have these teams who do these things that you're known for. No one is the week 0 team yet. I think Ball State should be the week 0 team. That's going to get you out there. You're going to have gamblers all over it every year. People always talk about Hawaii because Hawaii plays these super late games and these gamblers can go, well, now every year they know that this Ball State game is going to happen. You're going to be on a bigger network or something than you normally would be. I think Ball State should be the week 0 team. Is anyone against being the week 0 team?
I'm not, but I also do say I think it's time we finally go play a game in Ireland.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was working on a short for that recently.
Yeah.
I need to finish it up. Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar, we were talking about it with Sidelines in the episode where he showed us through Chirpville, as he calls it. And there's a hat from the Killarney Crystal Crystal Bowl, I think is what it's called. It's supposed to be Ball State in Ohio back in 1990, and they were going to play a game in Ireland, and it got kind of scrapped last minute because there wasn't enough involvement. But I like that, the callback to the Ireland game. And hell, people play those Ireland games in week 0 a lot of times. So there you go.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is put Maction on a spotlight and have us play another, MAC level team, or just kick it off with MAC versus MAC. Have some action. Week
I love
0
it.
in Ireland. Why not?
I love it. So Colin, do you have any other ideas potentially of how to grow the Ball State brand nationally?
Yeah, nationally, this is just an idea. I love the week 0 idea where we get, extra spotlight there. But how about Ball State versus Notre Dame yearly? Get on Peacock a little bit. Like their viewership numbers are so crazy. And there's a lot of Ball State alum in South Bend. Now we can go there every year. Last time we played them, it was pretty close. It was like 16-24. We're not expecting to win. But we just saw what happened for NIU when they beat Notre Dame. Now all of a sudden they think they're top dog. They're this and that. We beat them years in a row. I think if you beat Notre Dame, the spotlight on you, you get a lot of good press. So that would be one that, I would say like, hey, call up Marcus Freeman. I think he'd be open to it. Let's get Notre Dame, Ball State at Notre Dame once a year for some years. Now, another thing that we really need to work on, interviewing players and like doing specials on players that really pop, right? So like I talked about this a little bit, but like Tanner Koziel last year carried the team on offense. Like he was doing phenomenal. We didn't really even have any interviews with him. If you're really looking for some information on Tanner Koziel, you're watching the games regularly and he's your favorite player, you'd have to watch the segment from the year before about his dad passing away. And there's like another 3 other players like on this actual, I think it was like Nick Munson. And there was a linebacker that broke both his hands or something. So yeah, like people don't just watch the game and then they just care about, they're not diehards like us. So you got to make them care about the people too. Like people don't just watch the game and they're like, if there's casuals, they're like, oh my God, like I want to learn more about this player. You got to make them interesting. You got to push stuff out. You got to do something. I mean, I feel like it's that meme with the guy with the stick. He's like poking. He's like, do something. It's like that's how I feel about Ball State. It's like, please, like anything. Like so we've given them a lot, but it's like I think it's almost like preaching to the deaf. It's like nothing we're saying is getting through. Sometimes when we do say something that others agree with, instead of like finding a way that they can do like a portion of it or utilize it in some way, they're on the defensive. Particularly with me. Like I feel like sometimes like they're in my DMs upset. It's like I'm not really saying anything to hurt Ball State. I'm saying something to make it better. All 3 of us want to be around in 10 years. That's why we're making this video. Now, if they don't do anything starting now, nothing will happen. Okay, but we're not going to be around in 10 years. You don't make any moves. You don't get your name out there. You don't do something to make people be like, oh, that's Ball State. Like, oh, they're the ones with the jars. Oh, like that's where Garfield was at. Oh, like Bob Ross lived in Muncie. Oh, David Letterman. Dude, there's so many options. What, like, John, stuff like this fires me up because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like
No
we
effort.
just sit here and we throw stuff at the wall and then they open the cupboard. The cupboard's bare. They're not even opening the cupboards. They're like, oh, yeah, there's something in there. Like, knock on it. You'll hear it. We can't post it, though.
I have one other, what I think is pretty good idea to expand the brand nationally. But David, do you have anything else before I kind of throw this last thing I have out there?
I'm interested to see if they listen and if they bring in kind of like a Dancing Charlie alternate uniforms. I mean, people love uniforms. I mean, there's Twitter accounts dedicated just to talking about teams' uniforms.
Yep.
We're at a point where I think that we need to be focusing on that a little bit, if not a lot. So
yeah, I think fun stuff, and they've done some good stuff with that when they've had it. The Dancing Charlie with the American flag stands out. That was a great one. I've actually seen photos of unreleased concepts that they did a few years back with the ball script, like on the ball jar on the helmet. There was a red helmet and a black helmet for those. I've seen those. So they've thought about stuff like that. For whatever reason, that wasn't able to happen. I don't really know exactly why, but so they've done some stuff. So yeah, I think those kind of fun, cartoony mascots, they can garner that attention from people at any level of college sports, and so people can really grasp onto those if you hit it out of the park and do it right. Western Kentucky is a perfect example of it, like you were talking about earlier, Colin.
Well, if they would have added the uniforms that we were actually wearing last year into the college football game, the video
Yeah.
game as well. I mean, people again play those just looking for uniforms too.
Mhm.
I mean, the black helmet we have with the massive cardinal,
No,
I don't know the last time we actually wore it.
no, it's been years now.
And so that's what I'm saying is if we put more effort into stuff like that too, I think we'd be up there.
Yeah. Here's my other big idea, and this is not necessarily just for Ball State. This is more of a MAC thing as well. This media rights deal is coming up here in a couple years, and I think that people in our shoes, we really need to start being proactive instead of reactive. If we stay reactive, everything's just going to pass us by. I think this next media rights deal needs to be very streaming heavy. I think we need to start getting away from more of the traditional broadcast television. I think obviously this is shooting your shot and going really high, but like I would start at the top with like a YouTube TV type thing or figuring out some deal to have these games on YouTube or Netflix or HBO, something. Start big because that's where this viewership in TV is going. Less and less people are getting, oops, that was probably really loud. Sorry. Less and less people are getting traditional cable and they're getting these streaming. Like I have these because I'm a sports fan, but it would be awesome if some of these sports were just on some of those. So we're basically recreating broadcast TV from, the last 100 years now. But I think that would be a smart creative play is to really focus in on this streaming. Now you don't want to get thrown on some D level streaming service, but if you can shoot your shot and try and get as high as you can on one of these premier streaming services, is that a long shot? I'm sure it is, but I think that's where this should start is somewhere high up like that. And you're seeing some of these pieces are doing that. Netflix is getting more and more sports every day. You can't tell me that one of these guys wouldn't love to have live sports on a Tuesday or Wednesday where a lot of people are watching. But am I crazy in that? I think that makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean, the
I
way
think
Peacock
that's the
handles
most-
Notre Dame games too.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
I think that's the most important thing, even going all the way back to point one, conference realignment and Ball State's place in the MAC and MAC's place in college football. The most important thing about all of this, the reason this is all happening, the conference realignment, is about TV money. That's where the teams get the money from. So if you don't have big markets or you don't have like a big school with a big alumni base or like people aren't tuning in to watch this, like they're not an in-demand school, it's going to be hard to get a huge number. I mean, we just lost Northern Illinois. I don't know if they're in the Chicago market or they're at least close to it. We did just add UMass, but that's the most important thing is when our contract is up, we need a super inventive and a great like a great idea with that is streaming, John. Like we need as much money as possible for the schools, but something that is easy and easily accessible for the public to just watch games that like, oh, maybe I'm not that interested in Ball State, but it's on YouTube right now and it's popping up on the side here. Let's watch it. It's week 0.
You're sitting on your couch, you're trying to find something to watch on Netflix. Even if you're not a Ball State fan, you're just maybe a sports fan in general. You can't find something, there's a live football game on right now on Netflix. What is this? And so again, there are probably a million reasons why that won't work, but from the outside looking in, someone who's just kind of trying to put pieces together, that seems like a great starting point right there, is to really focus on the streaming element of this. Now, you can't do it for free, obviously, but figuring out a way to do that. So does anyone else have anything on this national brand exposure? Covers up. So yeah, my last thing I'll say about all that is obviously winning is going to cure most of these problems. So you can figure out a way to put a winner on the field and sustain success. I'm not saying you got to go 12-0 every year, but We don't need to be having 10, 15 years going between these 9, 10 win seasons. That's going to cure it all. You're going to get people out. The stadium's going to fill up. We can only control that so much. There's going to be outside factors with what's going to go on the field for us. But Ball State, we have to make people care. We have to make the people who are coming to the games, who are in the community, care about Ball State sports. And yes, winning is going to do a lot of that, but you need to make sure that this fan engagement at these games is out of this world. You need to make fans at a young age and keep them. David, they did that with you. Colin and I were a little bit older when we got into it, but they did that with us. The younger you get these people in, the longer they're going to stay. We need to get people who go to Ball State, who might come in as, when I was in school, growing up, I wasn't a Ball State fan. I was a Michigan State fan. And when I got to school, I became a Ball State fan throughout my 4 years. And that doesn't happen for a lot of people, but they need to make that a focus. They need to make those, 20,000 people they have on campus into Ball State fans by the time those 4 years are over. If they can do that, the rest of this is going to be a lot easier. They're going to get this money easier from these alumni. It's not an insignificant alumni base. It maybe not be the biggest one, but it's not some small private school either. So we need to make our fans, our alumni, and the Muncie community care about what's going on at Schumann Stadium, at Worthington Arena, all throughout Ball State. That's what I have on that. That's my little soapbox. So now we have one more segment here before we go. Fan questions. We have a handful of fan questions. So anyone out there listening, if you ever want to have something read on the show, drop it on any of the social media platforms that we have. Again, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's YouTube, and Spotify. Drop it in there. It can be about anything. We asked for questions about this. We got some about this. We got some that weren't really about this, but we're going to go over them anyways. Drop them in there. We'll add them in the next show. The first question we got was on Facebook from a friend of mine, Shay Kramer. But Shay sent me something pretty sweet today in the mail. It's going to be a couple weeks before I can reveal it, though. But his question was, what future non-conference games would you like to see based on either the venue or just the matchup in general? Now, David, I know right now your number one answer would be 2026 when they play Ohio State. But let's not pick someone that they're already going to play. Is there any teams out there you would love for them to see? My number one pick would be for Ball State to play a night game at LSU. Colin, where would you want to see Ball State go?
I think Notre Dame makes the most sense.
Okay.
It's in the same state. You get viewership easily on Peacock. If you win, you get a huge bump. I think Notre Dame's an easy choice for me.
David, do you have anyone besides Ohio State?
As crazy as it sounds, I'd like to play UCLA in the Rose Bowl.
That's a great pick.
I'd love some shots of Ball State playing there.
That's a great pick. I've been to the Coliseum at USC, or else I would have said that as one of them as well. But yeah, my number one pick would be LSU, but the Rose Bowl, that's a great pick. I completely spaced on that. And kind of off of this, if you had to pick one team besides Ball State to cheer for, who is it? David, yours is obviously Ohio State, correct?
Yeah, it's Ohio State for sure.
Colin?
Death. I'm not rooting for another team. I didn't
say that.
Like, okay,
if there's one other team you would root for, who would it be?
I mean, I just naturally I'm in South Bend, so like naturally when Notre Dame does good, South Bend does good, but like as far as like, do I root for Notre Dame? Yeah, it's Ball State till I die, but I guess it'd have to be Notre Dame just because the city I'm in. I'm born and raised South Bend.
I used to work there, not for the football team, but men's, women's basketball and baseball. Let's go Knowles, baby. Florida State. Okay, we had one other question
Real quick,
here.
John.
Yeah.
I got some schools that I'd want to play.
Okay, go ahead.
It has to be Power 5, right?
No, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
Oh.
Yeah, anybody. Whoever you want.
Honestly, I want to see us play UMass so bad, like as a new addition to the MAC. I'm sure we will play them, but I want to see us play them really bad. It would be great to see us play Tulane because Tulane just took Caden. So if Caden starts, I would have loved to see that matchup. UAB, just because Trent Dilfer is the coach and like I think he's absolutely dreadful. Wyoming, I think it
We've
was
played
like kind of a big name that we could actually beat. It'd be cool to go and see a game
we've
there.
played them before recently.
Yeah, Hawaii.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
sweet.
I think that'd be a great game to play. Marshall's a throwback.
Hmm.
Purdue, because I think we can beat them, and we're doing that. There's a lot. UConn, we own UConn, but for some reason people are acting like we don't.
I'll be
I'd love to see.
live in the stadium for the Yukon game this year.
Yeah,
Excited
perfect.
for
And
that
then
one.
Michigan State, because like why not? Like
Yeah.
I think that'd be
You're just gonna
fun.
name it. You just name every team.
Well, yeah, isn't you said your favorite team was Michigan State too, though, right?
Well, when I was growing up,
It used to be.
before I went to college, yeah, that was the team I cheered for.
I'll let it lie there, though. I'll let
Okay,
it lie.
David, did you
I,
have any more after I said it could be anybody?
I'd love revenge on Michigan from '06.
Yeah.
We were so close, maybe even Nebraska. But as weird as it sounds, I'd love to go play FIU in Pitbull Stadium.
Oh, there we go. That's right down. That's not far from
That's
me.
that's one I'd like. That do FAU again. I mean, we already did FAU. Do
Hmm.
FIU. Do a home and home with FIU. I think
I
that'd be
like that.
really fun.
I like where your head's at there. Okay, we have this is from OKK on Instagram. This is not necessarily a question as much as just one of our thoughts. We kind of covered this already, but my biggest desire is to hear everyone's thoughts on Coach U and what aspects everyone's excited for. I'm excited because I think he's going to be a throwback, old school, no nonsense type coach. But I think people will like and respect him, and I think he's going to do great things in his time in Muncie. So I'm excited for kind of a throwback football coach that it seems like we're going to have. It's going to be more focused on running the ball, tough defense up front. I think that's kind of what I'm most excited about because what we were doing wasn't really working. So anyone else have any thoughts on Coach U that you're excited about that maybe we hadn't gone on or you just want to reiterate?
I think he brings in discipline to the table finally for a football team, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that we've at times lacked that. Not all the time, but we have at times. And I think that's going to be great. Running the ball with that, not fumbling. I think that's part of why I brought Kelly back. I don't think he's going to fumble the ball much when he's running, and I think he likes that.
Anything from you, Colin?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just happy. I'm hoping he's changing the vibe in there. From my understanding, last year, like a lot of the players that were in the locker room were unhappy. I mean, some of them were unhappy about maybe money they had been promised that they didn't get, or maybe some players were upset about coach New writing them about dirty lockers, or some of the players were upset because maybe Coach New really isn't a player's coach. Like I'm not these. This is all allegedly, okay, but I'm just excited for something new, for something um, refreshing, somebody to put good energy back into the building because it doesn't seem like Mike New necessarily did have good energy. And I'll even say just someone that can recruit better because the recruiting was just piss poor as of late. And yeah, I mean there's a lot of reasons I'm excited, but just a newness, and like maybe lifting the heavy cloud that was surrounding our program and the pettiness, like get that out of there.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be a brotherhood. Like I don't care if their lockers are messy or not. Okay, like I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know you need to like set a uh like this is the expectation. But like honestly, some of the players we were starting last year at defensive back should not have been starting. And they started because it was coach liked them more than he liked the other guy. But then you watch the tape and you see that guy all over the place getting burnt, especially Kent State. And then those same players that he let start because he liked them more personally now are on FCS. So it's just like, I'm just happy to move on because honestly, like you asked the question a while ago, like not this pod, but before, like our opinion on Pete Lembo, and like Pete Lembo compared to Mike New makes Pete Lembo look like Bo Schembechler. I mean, like the team. Like so. I'm just really excited just to have like an actually players coach in there, someone that's gonna maybe not like ostracize players or like pick this player over this player because you like them more. Like I don't want any of that. I just want a coach that's gonna coach hard, the best man's in, and no petty stuff. Just coach them.
Shout out Pete Lembo. Even though he's a Buffalo
out Pete
coach now.
Lembo.
Shout out Pete Lembo.
Yeah.
Last question we have here, David. This one came from you. I'm not sure exactly where it came from. I don't know if it's your question or if someone sent it to you. But the question here is: how can Ball State get back to where we were in 2008 and 2013, and what steps need to be taken to ensure that we survive at the FBS level? Now, we kind of touched on some of that already, but David, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, that's a tough. Colin, you want to go? Gotta think
Yeah,
about
repeat the
that one for
question
a
one more
second.
time.
Yeah. So
I'm
gonna have to
how?
think about
So
that
so
one.
obviously some of our peaks here in the last quarter century have been in 2008 and that 2013 2014 window. What do we need to do to get back to that and make sure that when all these dominoes start falling, we're one that's left standing up and we're not one that kind of gets left behind?
I think it all starts with this year. It all starts with this year. I mean, we have to have like at least a 4-8 season. Like, unfortunately, like if we have a 2-win whatever season or a 3-9 season, like I don't think that's going to get the ball rolling in the right direction. Because I'm trying to think of like that 2011 year, 6-6, 2012, 9-3, 2013 or 9-4, 2013, 10-3. Like we have to build. Every year is going to be a step piece for the next year. And it's really just, it's down to coaching. It's down to recruiting. It's down to player development. I mean, in these last couple years, our recruiting was just absolutely dreadful. Dreadful. Now, if we can get the recruiting back to where it needs to be, I think we'll be fine. I mean, when we have to see like how they're developing the players as well, and like where do we get these pipelines of players from? Because most recently we're getting a ton of players from Purdue. If that continues, next year we get Nitro Tuggle. And I know Coach Uremovich was like, it's only for this year because Purdue has a new coach coming in and we're a new program coming in. But I still think that lifeline is there. So like we have a good year, Purdue has a bad year maybe. And then the players that left to come to Ball State, the players that are at Purdue that still know them are calling them. They're like, hey, how is it over there? Like, should we come over? And then just developing those new pipelines, even just from high school. Like, okay, we're getting a lot of players from this school. Just word of mouth is positive. It just honestly, it sounds crazy, but it a lot of it stems on Uremovich being actually a good man and like being someone that you want to play for, being somebody that you'll go out there, you'll bleed for him, you'll sweat, you'll cry, like everything, like you'll do anything for this guy. Like it all relies on our coach. He has to make people buy in. He has to make it a brotherhood. He has to have a good year. That's how we get, I think, how we're going to have to grow the program.
Okay. That's expansive answer, David. Is there anything else that he did not hit on that you were thinking might help?
I think not only just if we can beat Purdue, that'd be great, but I want to compete at Auburn. I want to similar. It kind of looked like a blowout on paper, but the game against Clemson way back, we competed. We were there. I think if we do some stuff like that, that would really help.
Yeah, we did not much competing the last few years in these Power 5 games.
No.
I guess the Vanderbilt game kind of
that one was close.
Was close, but the Miami game not even close. Georgia, although it was 0-0 going in the second quarter, which they can never take away from us. I was in the first row of that game, but then it was like 28-0 at halftime. Tennessee, these games have not been competitive. So yes, I agree. Are we should the players and the coaches expect to go into Auburn and win? Yes, they should be playing and expecting to go in and win. Should us as the fans from the outside expect them to win? No. But should we expect them to be competitive? Yes, we should expect and want them to be competitive. So I think that's a very good point, actually. Yeah. Boys, I think this is our longest episode yet. This has been a great one.
It is.
So I think we've covered a lot. Is there anything out there, fans that are listening, if there's anything that we missed that you think is a very obvious thing that's going to happen in 10 years, in your opinion, drop it down below. Let us know. We want to hear from you guys. If you think one of us is an idiot, let us know. We want to hear from you guys. If it's Colin, he'll probably come back at you. So just be warned. But overall, I think it's a great episode, and it's a great insight into what we think is going to happen with Ball State in 10 years. Will it all happen, or will any of it happen? Who knows? But Until next time, that's all I have today. Again, thank you, David, for joining us. Ball State Edits on Instagram. Great Instagram over there. He's getting back active on there, so be sure to go over there and follow him. Colin on Ball State Football Talk on Twitter. If you haven't already, be sure to follow him. And follow Ball State of the Union on all of our social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Until next time, chirp, chirp, and we'll see you later.